all of us to think about how the symbolic operates, do it well, and really build towards a non-repetition of in a society of peace. So she invited Jose Falconi to come and think about this, and Jose rounded up a group of usual suspects from Boston, and then we recruited Marco Abarca from Puerto Rico, human rights lawyer, who I'll introduce again. And we have now been for 2 years thinking about the centrality, the importance, and the impact of symbolic reparations, not only in Colombia, but in all cases of human rights violations, with the hopes of doing an intervention with the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, but in general to really rethink what we can contribute from the humanities and from law and how we bridge that together. And in doing so, we have created an international multidisciplinary community, very much like the communities that are putting this conference together. So in that process, and I want to stress the term process, we have all created community and we have all been deeply transformed. So not only are we recommending processes as opposed to objects, memorial processes of memorialization as opposed to monuments, because we ourselves have witnessed our own transformation as a group and an own community building as international scholars. So, so not only are we going to recommend that, but we've actually lived that. And we've experienced the potential of what it means to have a common objective to create a multidisciplinary, multivocal coalition and then be transformed from students to teachers, right? And so that's one of our aims, is to not end up with 7 million victims in perpetuity in Colombia, but have 7 million co-creators and co-constructors in a community with the long-term goal of non-repetition and peace. So that's very briefly a bit autobiographical, but in the sentiment of linking the efforts of this conference to the efforts of our particular group. I'm going to read a little bit about, for those of you who are not familiar with the 2011 Law of Victims, even though our project really has to do with the Inter-American Court for Human Rights and human rights more broadly speaking, today we're going to really talk about the Law of Victims, in the Colombia case being the Colombian Conference, or at least relating our research to the Colombian Law of Victims, which is widely regarded as a model in human rights law. It mandates a comprehensive program of state-sponsored reparations to victims of gross human rights violations. Central to this program is a category of symbolic reparation, which seeks to ensure the preservation of historical memory, to restore the dignity of victims, and to guarantee the non-repetition of violence. Nevertheless, no clear understanding currently exists of how to define or apply symbolic reparations. So this is a really important thing because, you know, from our history,